What does it mean to grow up? Welcome to Sacred Treks, a series where we look at Star Trek as a sacred text to learn lessons about how to live our daily life. We tend to see growing up as a loss of innocence, a loss of our goodness or purity. Yet do we really lose a piece of ourselves as we grow older? Or does it reveal more of who we are deep down inside? Let's discuss the Star Trek episode Miri through the theme of growing up. This is Sacred Treks.
Space, the final frontier.
We must strive to be more than we are, Lao. It does not matter that we will never reach our ultimate goal. The effort yields its own rewards.
It's a matter of interpretation. It may not be what you believe, but that doesn't make it wrong.
There are 3 things to remember about being a starship captain. Keep your shirt tucked in, go down with the ship, and never abandon a member of your crew.
The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us.
Your father was captain of a starship for 12 minutes.
He saved 800 lives.
I dare you to do better.
For Starfleet's captain. You believe in service, sacrifice, compassion, and love.
The needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few.
or the one.
Alright, it's time for the synopsis where I explain the plot of the episode as well as make fun of it, because while we're taking something as sacred, we also wish to acknowledge that it is imperfect as well. The Enterprise answers a distress call from a planet that resembles Earth in every detail. And everyone is just kinda cool with that. It's not like, oh my god, how is there another Earth? This totally changes my entire concept of reality. Maybe there is a god because this thing can't possibly have been created
the exact same way out there in the randomness of the universe.
Nah, there's none of that. They're all just nominally curious.
Another Earth.
Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Rand, and 2 totally not gonna die really soon crew members beam down to the planet to check out the distress signal to find that the planet looks like an NBC backlot. I mean, 1960s Earth. And everyone appears to be gone. So basically they beam to Detroit. Apologies to Detroit, I'm really sorry. While intensely examining a tricycle, a disfigured man attacks McCoy and seems obsessed with said tricycle.
Somebody broke it.
And then has a seizure and dies. All in all, a good life. McCoy finds the man died as if he aged rapidly in just a few minutes.
Almost as if it aged a century in just the past few minutes.
Kirk and company find a small girl named Miri who ran from them because grups, or grown-ups, harmed the children before they died decades earlier. She and her other child friends are onlys, or the only ones left. And the other kids have the creepiest song ever. Right out of Children of the Corn. Children of the Kirk? Nope, let's not go there. Yes, there's a disease on the planet that kills adults in 7 days, just like the Ring. And Kirk and the other humans are all infected, except for Spock, who is just a boss like that.
Probably the little bugs or whatever they are have no appetite for green blood.
Being a red-blooded human obviously has its disadvantages.
Oh, Spock, even when your friends are all gonna die, we can always count on you to be so catty. The crew learns the disease was accidentally created as part of a life extension experiment. McCoy tries to find a cure, because even the kids on the planet who have prolonged puberty will eventually grow up and die. Kirk then tells Miri she's pretty.
Pretty name. For a pretty young woman.
Cause Kirk's always got a hit on someone?
It's Jim.
I like that name.
Good. I like yours too. I like you.
Good thing it turns out that Miri is 300 years old, because otherwise Kirk would be really creepy here. Now it's not totally creepy at all.
You wanna go someplace with me?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say it, this whole Miri romance plot is just, at the very least it's kinda disturbing. But we'll move on from it. We'll just assume he really just needs her to sharpen pencils the whole time.
Are these enough, Jim?
We could use some more, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
The other children are distrustful of Kirk and the crew, and the leader John steals the crew's communicators, stopping the search for a cure. Kirk comforts Rand in her moment of stress, but overhearing Rand demand Kirk looks at her legs,
Captain, look at my legs.
This show sometimes. Miri gets jealous and kidnaps Rand with the other children. This plot also gives us the best line in all of Star Trek.
Bonk, bonk on the head. Bonk, bonk. Bonk, bonk. Bonk, bonk. Bonk, bonk.
Kirk goes after Rand and gets bonk bonked on the head, but he does convince the angry children that without their help, they will die too. And John gives Kirk back his communicator. Kirk returns to the lab to find that McCoy has cured the disease and is taking a well-learned coma. The crew eventually returns to the Enterprise, and Kirk asks Space Central, because apparently Starfleet doesn't exist yet, to send teachers to the planet. Oh, and can't end the episode without a creepy joke from Kirk.
Miri, she really loved you, you know.
I never get involved with older women, Yeoman.
Alright, now it's time to look at what we can actually learn from this episode through the theme of growing up. The children of Miri's planet still see the world as something new. They are trapped as children, and somehow, despite their advanced age, still see the world as filled with mystery. They still find joy in small things like tricycles, and have fun playing around their abandoned city. Despite their dire situation, there's still an innocence to them. In contrast, the grown-up Starfleet crew, who have experience, understand the true danger of the place around them. To them, the world isn't mysterious, it's dangerous. One defined by destruction and death. We often believe that growing up makes us callous, that we lose a small piece of ourselves with each passing day, or at least get hardened to it. Our childhood is defined by wonder and discovery, each new piece of information both bringing us intense joy, and yet somehow making the world a little bit smaller, a little less magical and more mundane. Yet this episode, Miri, also shows us an inverse of that concept, that youth is not defined by innocence, but also fear. Fear of that mystery and unknown. John and the kids attack and hurt Kirk. They steal and kidnap because they are scared by something that they don't know. The Grumps. We see youth as innocents, but these children are not innocents. In fact, they enact violence and cruelty, even if it comes out of ignorance. Though isn't that where a lot of violence comes from? In contrast, Kirk and the crew, whose lives may end in just a few short days, strive to not only save their own skin, but save the lives of the children as well. Their adulthood brings empathy, understanding, and a desire to help, because they aren't scared, even in the face of death. Or at least a little less than the youths are. So the joy of youth also brings with it harsher realities, both rooted in that unknown. We see youth as defined by that mystery and wonder, yet we fear growing up for a very similar reason. Because it brings us closer to yet another idea filled with mystery and wonder. Death. The start and end of our life are both filled with reflection on the unknowable. So the quest of our life often seems to be running away from the unknown, not towards it. It's why the adults of Miri's planet created the disease in the first place, to try and prolong their life indefinitely, to run away from that last mystery, that true final frontier. Hell, even the whole planet is a version of Earth frozen in a moment of time, unable to move on. Yet this moment in time that was once thought to be beautiful, idolized, is now destroyed, decayed. Without age, without the chance to change, to grow up, to grow older, everything still declines. Change is required, and to fight the unknown is to court despair. Yet for both the kids and death, it is not the unknown, the mystery that causes pain, destruction, and cruelty. It's the fear of that unknown. And perhaps that's why Kirk and company are the most empathetic, the most capable of being kind. Because as Starfleet officers, they don't fear the unknown. Every day they boldly go where no one has gone before. To grow up is not to run away from the unknown, but towards it. To take that risk, to take that chance at having a life and knowing that you're risking it every day you go out. So we begin to lose our fear because if we cling to it, we will never grow up. We will never change. We will court that decay and destruction. Growing up is a necessary part of life, and to fight it is, as the Borg say, futile. But it is our choice to embrace that fact. And in so doing, continue our quest out into that vast mystery that is what our life holds for us.
Look at the blood on my face. Now look at your hands. Blood on your hands. Now who's doing the hurting? Not the Grumps. It's you hurting, yelling, maybe killing. Just like the Grumps you remember and the creatures you're afraid of. You're acting like them. And you're gonna be just like them. Unless you let me help you. I'm a Grump. And I want to help you.
That's it for this Sacred Treks, but I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. What did you think about it through other themes or lenses? I'd love to hear all of that. And don't forget to give this channel a subscribe for more Sacred Treks and analysis of Star Trek and other geek things through different topics that I like to discuss here on my channel. And also, if you want to help make this channel even better, consider giving to my Patreon page where you get other cool perks like your name in the video. Or if you don't want to give on Patreon and just want to give a one-time donation, there's a PayPal down there as well in the doobly-doo. But regardless of if you subscribe or give to my Patreon or PayPal, I'm just glad that you stopped by, and I hope that you, as always, live long and prosper. And special thanks to my commander level and above Patreons, especially right now, Eli Bergmas, Stefan Schuhart, Boyd and Mary Beth Earl, Wellington Marcus, Lal Lindley, Marika Kuyechin, Munir Amlani, and Mystic the Monakit.